guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Psycho Karen Claims I'm Faking My Blindness, Steals My Guide Dog. Summary. I went to my favorite mall with my guide dog, as I'm blind. In a store, a woman came to me angrily. She told me that she's allergic to dogs and that I should take the dog out. She became more aggressive when she started telling me that I'm faking blindness, accusing me of trying to scam people just so I can take my dog to the store. She then pushed me, grabbed my glasses, and tried stealing my dog. Fortunately, the dog bit her and ran back to me, and the police saw everything. The police arrested her, and I received a $150 voucher from the store, as an apology from the manager. It was a beautiful Sunday and the perfect time to meet some people outside, so I took Jack, my guide dog, to get ready. I had to do some shopping, so we went to the mall. I hadn't left the house in a while, so I was excited. We walked for around 15 minutes until we got there. Jack knew the mall perfectly already, so we. Lovely dog. What's his name? Asked the new mall guard. I'm sure he was new because every other guard already knew Jack. His name is Jack. He's my guide dog, and he's the sweetest, I replied. Do you need any help, ma'am? He asked politely. No, thank you. We only came to this mall because it was the most friendly with handicapped people, and I already knew everyone around. We went to my favorite store, and I started doing my shopping quietly. I felt Jack was a bit agitated, sniffing around me continuously, almost aggressively. I heard someone talking very loudly behind me, telling someone else in the store, things about me. See that one? The one with the dog? Yes, replied the other woman without any interest. She's acting to be blind. I'm 100% sure. I saw these kinds of things on television, said that woman, they're tricking people. She's tricking us. I don't know what to say honestly. I don't think it's our business, replied the other woman. She's not even talking to us, she added. I'll prove it to you. When I heard those words, I knew I had to be ready. Soon I heard her steps coming towards me. She stopped and then I felt someone touching my shoulder. I turned around and asked, yes? A sweet, flowery perfume filled my nostrils. That was what Jack was sniffing. He became even more agitated, running and circling my leg. Lady, can you take your dog out? It's annoying me, and I'm allergic, said the woman. Look at him, he's aggressive. I'm sorry, but it's a guide dog. I'm blind, so I need him with me. She laughed and took a few steps toward me, and she came with her hand close to my face, almost touching it. She tried holding her breath, but I could still hear her breath. I can feel your hand, I don't need my eyes for that. Please step back, I said. You just proved to me that you're lying, she said. How could you feel my hand? It's impossible. She laughed and took a few steps back, shouting after that other woman. I have the proof. The proof that she's not blind. The other woman didn't respond, so Karen waited a few seconds and came back to me. Yes, you're lying. Why would I lie? So, you can come here with your dog. You just want to make people like me suffer. You want people to pity you. I'm not stupid, I've seen these things on TV. First of all, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Secondly, my dog seems to dislike your perfume, that's why he's agitated, so I could also ask you to leave, I said. She started screaming and repeating the word, liar. I turned around and continued my shopping. I could still hear her talking behind me, trying to convince other people in the store that I'm a bad guy. After a few more minutes, I can hear that she's fighting with an employee. She's not blind, I'm sure. Plus, I'm allergic to dogs, she screamed. I can hear the steps of people coming toward me, so I'm getting ready for another fight. I'm sorry, ma'am. This lady said that you're faking blindness. I'm sure that's not right, but she insisted I come here and talk to you, said the employee. I have the documents that prove that I'm blind in my bag, the stick, and my guide dog is the things that I have as proof, I said. Take off your glasses. Why do you need sunglasses if you're blind? Asked the woman. Wow, Karen, you're doing it, I said laughing. Doing what? You're being the most stupid person I've ever met. When she heard those words, she came closer and pushed me. After she pushed me, she managed to grab my glasses, and that's the moment the employee intervened. The employee pushed Karen aside, and grabbed my glasses from her hand, giving them back to me. "This is unacceptable," I said. "I'm so sorry. I'm going to call for the manager, also the police," said the employee. When Karen heard that, she started running around the store, screaming that she did not make anything wrong. "It's all your fault. You could have just taken the dog out, just like I told you. Now the police are coming," she screamed at me. The manager and the police came in the shortest time. Everyone said their side of the story, Karen's one being the only one where she was right. She was lying to the police, trying to make herself look good. As I was still talking to the police, Karen came and grabbed Jack's leash from my hand and started running. 2 policemen started running after her, and I just stood there, stunned. Fortunately, she didn't have time to run really far, as Jack immediately bit her on the leg, and directly ran back to me. "I'm suing you. Your dog bit me," said Karen, showing me her right leg. I laughed as I heard what she said. I felt Jack circling my leg and sniffing me. I petted him and said, "He was protecting me. Plus, you tried stealing him, and you dragged him. What did you have in mind? He's a dog, not a baby." "Mister, her dog bit me." "I'm sure she shouldn't be allowed with a dog in the store," she started screaming at the policeman. "We saw that he bit you, but we also saw how you tried stealing him." "Maybe next time, you won't steal other people's dogs," answered a policeman. "She can go anywhere with the dog," he added. The police also checked the store security cameras and saw everything. Karen was taken to the police and arrested. The manager gave me a $150 voucher to use in the store as an apology. And what can I say? I enjoyed spending all that money there. Since then, no one ever told me again that I'm faking my blindness, but at least, Karen gave me an interesting story. The next story is titled, PTA Karen Decides to Keep Us from Meeting on Public Property. Note: this happened a couple of years ago. So, for context, you need to know some laws. Where I live, schools are governed and regulated by district. Your district is usually in your city, and in this particular district, during school hours, the school grounds are considered private property, and when school is out, the school is considered public property, meaning anyone can play on the playground, field, as long as they're not trying to enter the actual building. Now, the school right across the street where I live has a huge field, spanning acres, and pretty much nobody utilizes it, except when there are games, or people are playing with their dogs. So, I post on the neighborhood forum, asking if anyone would be interested in meeting up with their dogs. My dog at the time was a puppy, fully vaccinated, and needed some dog friends outside of doggy daycare. Karen starts messaging me, immediately introducing herself as the head of the PTA, and telling us she doesn't want dogs on the property, as she's worried about dog poop. Because I'm not good with confrontation, due to past abuse, even though I'm technically an adult, I bring this to my mom, and she helps me craft a response. We respond back politely, letting the lady know that we will make sure everyone picks up after their dog. She then goes to the HOA to tell us to stop letting dogs meet up on the field, and the HOA ends up messaging me. Keep in mind, tons of people use the field with their dogs, and I don't see her policing them. I then call the former HOA leader R, not her real name, because I have a good relation with her, and she instructs me to call the school and get permission from the principal, and she instructs me on what to say. I end up telling the principal that we're calling to get permission to walk our dogs on the grass, and that the PTA leader won't let us. I end up, if I can remember correctly, explain what happened. Victory, I guess, because not only did I get permission, but Karen never bothered me again. The next story is titled, Corporate Policy Changed Because Bad Neighborhood? Approximately a week ago I got my haircut at, we'll call it, not the greatest cuts, for their privacy. The girl that originally cut my hair was really sweet, but I could tell that she was struggling with the back. She used a lot of product on it and it looked okay, and I figured no biggie, I can work with it. After about 3 days I was becoming increasingly frustrated because they were 2 tufts that were substantially longer than the rest of the haircut in the back. Think Sharon Osbourne. And for whatever reason she cut off the wispies framing my face. I called the salon and asked if there was any way she could even out the back and get rid of the 2 tufts, just blend it in. The lady that introduced herself as the manager stated that they only allow 1 to 2 days after a haircut for you to come in and request any adjustments. I was looking at my receipt and their website, and both of them stated clearly that it's a 7-day adjustment policy, and I knew at that point that I was well within the 7 days. I think at that time it was 4 days. I explained to her that the rest of the haircut was fine, and the girl was really sweet and I liked her, it was just those two weird tufts behind my ears. She said sorry it's been longer than 2 days I can't help you and hung up. I then contacted the 1-800 number because this is a national chain and explained to the customer service person what was happening and asked if there was any way they could intervene. They said absolutely not a problem and they would get back to me or have the manager of the store get back to me. Well, that was Thursday and today she did finally contact me and let me know that somebody was impersonating her and that I could come in and she could blend out the back. I said great and I headed in. For context, I live in a very diverse neighborhood just a little north of Richmond, California, which is also very diverse. I guess I would classify myself as mixed race, but when my hair is dyed, I just look like a very tan Caucasian. Let's just call the manager a Karen and she offered to fix the hair, saw the problem immediately and fixed it. It was during that time that I had a conversation with her and inquired why someone pretended to be her. She claimed she never spoke to me. I don't know if she did or didn't, and I asked her about the policy being only 2 days max if you have an issue with your haircut. It was at that time she informed me that because of the neighborhood you need to be very stern with these kind of people. She then went on to state, you cannot let these people get over on you at all because they will all try. She was just finishing up my hair, and honestly I wasn't sure of what I was hearing and I wanted to get out of there because at that point I was really uncomfortable. It wasn't till I was driving home and I realized how much her statement bothered me as she was referring to those people and it dawned on me that she assumed I was Caucasian just like her. Maybe I'm totally off base, maybe I'm making way more out of this. I'm not even sure what I should do at this point. It makes me sad that somebody in my neighborhood that is in charge of a corporation, franchise all-service beauty salon is looking down on those people and changing corporate policy for no reason other than they don't trust apparently people of color. Update. I will be calling them on Monday when the offices are open and let them know. TBC I'm Creole, French, Hispanic and English. When I was younger, I had dark curly hair and as I've aged it's became predominantly gray so keeping it a lighter shade was easier than my roots showing all the time. I have green eyes and very olive skin. When I was much younger I would often hear comments people asking me about my heritage and they would make the comment, I knew you were something but I couldn't tell what nationality you are, always very subtle racism, but nothing overt. It seemed like the older I got nobody ever said that anymore so that's why this lady saying these things kind of took me by surprise. I was trying to wrap my head around if she was being racist or if she was making some sort of comment about less affluent people, and this great clips is in a strip mall next to a Target, a grocery store, and several other well-established shops including an Ulta, a HomeGoods and a David's Bridal. Not a bad or scary area as far as I'm concerned. Final update. I called corporate offices and explained the situation exactly how I explained it in this post and I was told, I am absolutely 100% sure that she did not mean it in the way that you took it. I reiterated that I was pretty sure that she did mean it that way and that she used the phrase, those people, at least 6 times during our conversation. They said that they will send a notification to the owner of the salon but they said they don't see anything racist in what she said so there's absolutely nothing that they can do. So I guess at this point, there's nothing anyone can do. I'm somewhere between stunned and concerned. I can guarantee you one thing, I will not be going back to Great Clips in Pinole, California again. The next story is entitled Neighbor Brings the Neighborhood Wi-Fi Down. So, my neighbor had the optic cable junction box for our neighborhood's internet service provider. I got the representatives at my door asking if my Wi-Fi is down too. I informed them it is indeed, to which they shared that the neighbor has cut the optic cables leading to our routers from the junction and if they can reinstall the junction at my house. After some time, they came back with the required equipment for the installation and I asked them what was the reason behind cutting all the cables. Lo and behold, the neighbor also wanted the internet service provider to install a router in their house and apparently they thought the fastest way of getting them to do so was to cut the junction box cables and bring the whole neighborhood's Wi-Fi down. So this was the reason they did so and we had no internet between 12 to 8 p.m. Good news is the entitled neighbor has been blacklisted by the company and sad part is this is at the moment the best service provider in our area. The last story is titled, How Dare My Mail Be Wet? So, at first I thought these stories were ridiculous but I was proven wrong. A little bit of backstory. I work as a mail deliverer. I am quite new to this job, about a month or so, but I have been really loving it. Today, however, was my first rainy day. Seeing as I live in the Netherlands, the mail gets delivered by bike, and while that has many benefits, it also means mail may be wet on arrival. Nothing drastic due to the bike bags, but still some drops might be on your letter. Most people think it's fine. I always accepted it myself too, not like anyone can do anything about it. Well, most people think that way. But there's always at least one Karen in a neighborhood. And after delivering her mail, she stormed out the door to inform me about her wet mail, as if I didn't know it was wet. After she was done with her rant, I just looked at her, soaking wet, and said, "Yeah. Your mail deliverer is also wet." She was not a fan of witty comments and kept yelling at me how I should, somehow, keep her mail completely dry and how she was going to get me fired. I just cycled away, and maybe I'll see her again next time I deliver in that neighborhood. Thank you for listening.